Oh, we heavy on the explosions today.
Big explosions
We cooking
today.
with
Welcome
gas.
back. This is the UKNO podcast. My name's Mike Watts.
It's your boy J Kraft.
And we are here with, it looks like a politically heavy week. There's a lot going on in the political sphere as it is right now.
Yeah, man. I feel like it was a light week for music releases, aside from Posty, but
Yep.
very heavy in politics this week. And unfortunately, sports are kind of dying down. It's going to be baseball pretty soon, just on its own, which is always kind of depressing.
It's like the worst season. You know what I mean? It's just baseball season. You need a little more spice. You know what I mean?
I live off of college football message boards and beat writers for OTAs for football, and that's about it. That's all I got to look forward to, you know? Maybe
when's
free
the first
agency.
game of the football season? When does football start?
College football should be kicking off in beginning of September, I believe. Maybe end of August for like spring games and shit.
Is professional
spring
any
games
earlier?
are probably already over. No, college will be 1 or 2 weeks before week 1 of the NFL. But like preseason games and shit will be going on. The first preseason will start 2 weeks before college, I think.
Oh, I bet.
But
yeah, I'm looking at. So there's still technically hockey going on right now, but we're really towards the end of that too. Like it's absolutely sad.
yeah, I mean Colorado just steamrolling, which we'll talk about that. But you want to jump right into the hot water?
Topic number 1: politics. Start me off.
So the talk of Twitter and the news stations as of late, right, has been gun reform because of the shooting in Texas, and it's just giving it more flame under the water, right? The temperature's getting a little bit hotter.
Yeah.
And so there were a bunch of polls that came out, and 72% of the country apparently agrees that we can prevent and stop mass shootings if we really tried.
Yes.
And 28% says that unfortunately we have to accept it as a part of a free society. And there's a split where that percentage is heavily skewed to be Republican, as one would kind of assume. So apparently 44% of Republicans are saying that mass shootings are something that we just have to accept. But
still, at least that's smaller than half of the Republicans.
It's true.
Even. So if we're talking about just one side. Like, it's most people, and broad generalization, but most people believe that this is preventable. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's one of those things that if most people believe that, let's go ahead and start taking these steps to actually prevent it. But I know there's a button here somewhere.
Well, the but is that the Senate is currently split. So that's really the issue. I think, did you watch the Steve Kerr video that he had at that press conference right after the shooting, like the night of, I think?
Yeah,
where he talked
talking about holding on to power and definitely.
Well,
Shout
and
out
he
Steve
mentioned
Kerr for that, by the way.
Yeah, that took a lot of balls, and I mean, he's got a platform. He's always been somebody that doesn't have an issue speaking up and giving you a piece of his mind, which that's good.
Thank you, Steve Kerr. Yeah, we need that. We need more of that. You know. What I mean?
But what he talked about, like specifically in there, was talking about the bill that's been on the floor of the Senate basically for 2 years. And there has been gun reform legislature that's on there, but nobody wants to pass anything because they say it's too liberal. You know, we're putting in place too many restrictions on the free American people and blah, 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 blah. But
oh, come on, man.
Where we do have some positive, not necessarily, I mean, nothing's been done yet, but we're moving in the right direction because the House actually today, Wednesday, June 8th, June 8th, the House just passed a bill that would, if it is passed by the Senate and signed into law, would raise the minimum age to buy a semi-automatic rifle from 18 to 21, which is huge. And big. I think that's awesome, but we still run into the issue of the Senate, right? Where is that going to pass the Senate? But on top of raising the minimum age, which I think would be good, It would also put limitations on high-capacity magazines and ammunition feeding devices. There would be tougher penalties for gun trafficking and straw purchases. It would also establish a residential gun storage rule with criminal penalties for violation, and it would require registration for bump stock type devices and modify the definition of a ghost gun so that it's subject to regulation. And I think all of those things are just common sense.
Pretty much, yeah. I thought bump stocks were already illegal. I thought that was already, they had done away with those years ago. But it was at a state level, maybe? These are like federal
I think
changes?
that's state level because like a bump stock is just the stock on an AR. That's my understanding.
Well, yeah, so it turns it into like a fake automatic rifle because the bump just be like, meaning that it like goes back with the recoil and then pops back forward to then hit the trigger again, basically. The bump stock is what turns it from a semi-automatic AR-15 assault rifle style, whatever, to the fully automatic version, basically. Yeah.
That sounds right. Which
But I thought those were illegal already. I thought that was already banned. And like there's a lot of stuff that I already thought was illegal, which may be just state level, which it probably is. Because like I know for a fact that, at least in Illinois, which Illinois has pretty restrictive gun laws, so like the high capacity magazines and stuff definitely gone already. If you get caught with one of those, you're going to jail. Bump stocks definitely gone in Chicago, going to jail. What's this about the like you have to store them a certain way in your home as part of the law now?
Yeah, it would establish a residential gun storage like rule. There would be like rules you have to abide by for how you are storing your weapons in your home. And there would be criminal penalties for violations of those laws, which again, I think that's just like a common sense thing. If you talk to any responsible gun owner, they're going to have some way of storing those firearms that is safe, and whether it's a gun safe, whether it's a Pelican case that's locking, or whether it's you have a locking mechanism on the trigger and you pull the carriage back to put additional locking mechanisms into the chamber so that you can't effectively load the weapon. Like there's all sorts of things that you can do to make sure that your firearms cannot be used by somebody that isn't you. And I think that, again, that's common sense shit, right? Like if you own a gun, you don't want your kids to just be able to get access to them and fuck around with them when they don't know what they're doing.
I agree. I do think that like would be part of it, that a lot of people might bring up a slippery slope thing though, because it's like, oh, okay, now you're telling us that we can't have these certain types of guns at all, which fine. But then you're saying like, oh, and then inside your own home, you have to do this with them to, XYZ for them to not be a problem or whatever. And I've been looking at a lot of anti-ATF memes today, or not today, but this week in general. So fuck the ATF.
Yeah. Pause real quick. Where are those coming from? Because they're fucking hilarious. And I know that the ATF has a history of shooting dogs from Waco and from the other one. What was it? Not like Pleasant Prairie, something.
Ruby Ridge.
Ruby Ridge.
Yeah.
Like, why are you on this train of just fuck the ATF and they love killing dogs?
So, you know what I'm saying? So I watched a video on Waco specifically, and the guy who was doing the video has like a bunch of firearms and stuff like that. So he's also very anti-ATF, but he was like, it was 100% the ATF's fault that, Waco happened basically, and so many people died and all that stuff. So he started posting a couple anti-ATF memes, and then I started doing my own research. They're hilarious. Maybe I'll throw some up on the edit.
The hand signal one is the best one. Look, that Chihuahua has a gun.
Yeah. So anti-ATF vibes, but that's the kind of thing where it's like, you're telling us what we can have and how to store it, how to do all these things. It's like, if being a responsible gun owner is what you're trying to do, hopefully you're doing those things anyway. But you're telling me I can't have my AR above my mantle anymore? Well, that seems un-American. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you could theoretically, depending on how the legislation is written, you could do that while having some sort of mechanism, some sort of trigger lock that prevents it from being loaded and fired without the combination of that lock or the key for that lock. So it doesn't have to be just a gun safe. There's a lot of other things you can use to make that gun safe and make sure that it's something that nobody can use. Which, again, if you're a responsible gun owner, like Republicans and Ted Cruz specifically loves to talk about the only thing stopping a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. If you're a good guy with a gun, then you're probably already doing a bunch of this shit. So it's not going to affect you.
Come on, man.
Fucking Ted Cruz.
You're
man.
already doing it,
these...
but now that somebody is telling you have to do it, you don't want to do it anymore. That's the point.
But that's kind of real. I mean, I understand that, and I definitely think it should be more training before you're able to get any of these, gun licenses or anything. And I also think that you should have to have a gun license in all 50 states to own a gun, meaning you've gone through a background check and things like that. But, once I've passed everything to get my gun, don't tell me what to do with my gun, dog. You know what I mean? I'm going to form a militia. I'm going to take over the government. That's what the law was, or the constitutional right was put there for in the first place. I'm not going to lock it up in a safe. I'm an adult who lives with other adults, and I don't have a kid that I have to, keep it away from or anything like that. So maybe I'm on the wrong side of history with this one, man. I think, free the nipple, free the gun, free the clip. Oh, no, that ain't it. Hold on. I'll think of something better, but you get me. You get me. Free the clip.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful that there's something done, because, all this stuff is, I think what they're talking about are things that most people that own guns are already doing, but the step further that we need to take as a country is that you shouldn't just be able, and I've said it before, you shouldn't be able to walk into a pawn shop and walk out with an AR-15 15 minutes later. It's just ridiculous. Literally. And you shouldn't be able to do that. That
part is insane to me.
And
I feel much better.
You shouldn't be able to buy an AR-15 when you can't buy a handgun.
Exactly. Wait. What? You can buy a handgun at 21 right now?
In the state of Texas, we'll use that as an example because that's the one everybody's using. In the state of Texas, you have to be 21 years old to buy a handgun. But you can be 18 and walk into that same gun store and buy an AR-15.
Make it make sense. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
On,
and
man.
that's where it's like that one right there is a common sense thing of, okay, that's an easy one that everybody should be able to agree on. But nobody's going to budge because you give an inch, they're going to take a mile and all that other bullshit. But all of this kind of brings me to my next point. And I have an idea. I want to workshop an idea here with you. I've got a concept for maybe a business, but maybe a non-for-profit charity. I don't really know how we would do it, but the working title that I have for this conglomerate is Street Beef Boxing LLC. And where this is coming from is last weekend when I was at Harpo's, there was a shooting outside of Harpo's. We were up on the patio. It was probably about 12:45, 1 o'clock. We were winding down, about to have like one last drink and then probably Uber home. And all of a sudden, you hear one pop, and then you hear a bunch of other pops like shortly follow. The entire balcony hits the ground. Heads down, cover up. No idea what's going on. It was a real quick 15, 20 seconds let off at, I would say at least maybe 10 to 12 shots.
Oh, shit.
And then immediately...
Is everybody okay? Was there somebody shot?
Two people were injured, not like within Harpo's. And according to the police reports, it was multiple discharges from two separate weapons. So, we hit the decks.
Shooting at each other? Or
that's
two people shooting
That's what I think. It hasn't really come out. They don't have any suspects. Apparently, the people that were hit, non-life-threatening, just go to the hospital, get stitched up. They're good, which is good. You don't want anybody dying. But
that's a cool story. You got shot now. That's cool.
One can jump to the conclusion that if it's two guns being discharged, and it's 1 o'clock in downtown Columbia, people are drunk.
You know what I mean?
It's probably some sort of argument that then turned into, oh, I got a gun. Oh, word, I got a gun too. And then people start shooting.
Okay.
So this brings me to my workshop. I think that somebody, whether it's us or somebody with a lot of money, should start a group that takes street beef and puts it in the boxing ring. You don't need to be shooting at each other in the middle of 9th Street at 1 o'clock in the morning drunk because somebody said your girlfriend was fat, or that you had buck teeth, or that the barber fucked up your fade last weekend. Like, okay.
He did.
If he did, then it's well warranted. But those are arguments that can be solved by just throwing hands. You don't need to throw shots. Just throw hands.
That's
and
real.
I think when we were talking about the Benny the Butcher stuff and Freddie Gibbs, right? A lot of people were out there saying this is some old head beef, because if it was young heads, they'd be popping up and they'd be just spraying.
Shoot.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like
disregard
the younger generation, our age and down and a little bit up, guns are more accessible. Everybody, for the most part, has a gun of some sort. I would say the majority of people in this country have a gun versus don't have a gun, as far as like 30 and below. So if we somehow create a group where you get into that argument outside of the bar, you say, oh, okay, I'm going to DM you. We're going to set this up on 2 weeks from now. There's a card coming up on Street Beef. Trust me, we're going to set this up. And instead of having to just shoot at each other in the middle of the street, we got a big show where you got, like, have you seen Rough and Rowdy? No,
I haven't.
Rough and Rowdy is the barstool, like, boxing thing, where it's basically this, but white trash in West Virginia, in, like, Kentucky. Where you got literally just that, like, beef because somebody called somebody's girlfriend fat and ugly, and so they're going to get in the ring, and they're just going to throw hands for, like, 3-minute rounds. That's what we need to do in Chicago. That's what we need to do in LA. In the big cities where all of these shootings are happening and all this violence is happening, would that violence dissipate or lessen if you could just put on some gloves on a Saturday night and, I don't know, maybe like win $1,500 if you win the fight?
Oh, shit. I mean, I definitely think that would alleviate some pressure off the problem. But I think, like, the problem is gang violence in general. And that's still gang violence. Or it's still not even gang violence. It's still, like, violence. You know what I mean? So I vehemently disagree. So, sorry. But we need to teach people that violence is not the answer. Whether you're hitting people, jumping people, stabbing people, shooting people, that's not the answer. Because I'll tell you this, bro. You get me on some street beef boxing and I lose the fight, that guy that I lost to is getting shot the next day. That's it. Sorry, my bad. But
that's
how I feel.
It's a possibility that I thought of, but I like to think that, you know, I don't know, maybe we can change the vibe in the street. Maybe we can change the mindset.
Violence begets violence. These violent delights have violent ends, or whatever it is. What we need to do is figure out the real roots of the beef. And if it's that, like, your girlfriend is getting called ugly or whatever he'd use as the example, like, I don't know, maybe you should get a different girlfriend. No, but you need to learn to, like, suck it up, move on. Don't talk to those people. Don't deal with those people. You know what I mean? Like, you need to have better ways to manage your anger than definitely shooting people, because that's just going to involve other people, which if you have random people getting shot, that's never the answer, obviously. And then, I mean, beating people up with the fists is, like, it's not just as bad. I'm not going to equivocate it, but, you know, it's not good. Violence is violence. Don't get in fights, kids. Like, what are we doing out here? Okay. That's how I feel.
Just Dr. Phil my ass, goddamn.
Just saying, I disagree. Oh, okay. More politics. From people disagreeing on gun rights to people disagreeing on what happened on January 6th of 2021. Bro, I can't. So, first of all, have the hearings started? These January 6th hearings?
No, they start tomorrow, the 9th.
Tomorrow, the 9th. Okay, so when you see this episode, they will likely be airing later today, day, the 9th. But one notable news network is not covering the hearings whatsoever. So these are prime time. They're going on at like 5 or 6, right?
I think so, yeah. Because the whatever the group is that's producing it, which I don't know how that's going to work. I think there's one group that's producing it and then gives the streams to everybody, and they have their commentators that are talking about it. But
that makes sense. It's like a sports event
somewhere where he's like, I don't want this to just be a a congressional hearing. I don't want it to look like a traditional congressional hearing. I want this to be something that people want to turn into.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's really important. Like, in the same way that like an OJ trial gets, really big and hyped up, and it's like, as much as OJ doesn't actually matter for the normal person's life, you know what I mean? They did care to tune in because it was a spectacle. Like, this January 6th shit, I think actually has a big impact on the way people view our government and the way people view the sanctity of our government. And is it going to, implode on itself just because a group of people don't like the election results? You know what I mean? Like, I think it is important that people tune in and watch.
It's even more prime time than I thought. It's 7 o'clock at night. That's like prime time.
That's real prime time. So, Fox News refusing to cover the January 6th hearing on prime time when it's being aired, like every other news station is going to be airing it. And instead, so they're airing their normal prime time shows or whatever, and then they're doing a 2-hour reaction after the hearings are over. So, what? Are they just trying to control the narrative on their side? What do you think there?
Yes. And I think it's funny because their defense is, well, it's going to be aired. It's just going to be aired on Fox Business, which you don't.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
You don't get Fox Business if you just have a fucking cable subscription. You need to have the additional news package that's like whatever X amount more a month, and then on top of that, they have it on their like Fox News streaming, which is like a subscription service. So they're like giving the cop out of, oh no, we're streaming it. It's just not accessible to all people that have cable on our network. So they're just gonna chop it up.
Oh, come on, man.
They're gonna
do a reaction.
They're gonna do like a reaction where they're gonna just, because you can take like chopped up version and you can make it mean or say or have the undertone of whatever you want, because you can pull
literally
a 10-second clip from a 3-minute and 30-second response to a question, and then you can frame your argument and your opinion on that 10-second clip, because that's the only clip that your audience is seeing. Your audience didn't see the full answer, which that's exactly what they're doing.
I hate it here.
Oh yeah, definitely. And another thing I've heard even is that some of the Fox News, I hesitate to call them reporters, pundits, talking heads, are actually, like, some of their text messages to people who were at the Capitol riots are actually part of the hearings and stuff like that. So they're even trying to hold back some conflict of interest, is what I have heard from some whispers. I think it was Colbert that said that or something like that, which was like not the most trustworthy source of information. But if, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson got texts that are going back and forth between them and, people on the Hill, they could... That's a pretty big conflict of interest to be covering the story whatsoever, especially reacting to it. But you know what I mean? It's a thin line you're stepping way over there. You know what I mean?
I think it's
something like that.
It's a blatant... What's the word I'm looking for? A blatant attempt to prevent their audience from getting actual facts.
Yes, 100%.
Which I think that's what Fox
like
News has been doing for the past 10 years. But it's just now going to such crazy, never before thought possible lengths. Like something like this would have been like the OJ trial, where they stopped the NBA Finals to broadcast OJ being chased in the white Bronco on PCH. Like, that's the type of level this is. And it's crazy that they're just not even going to broadcast it. Just wild.
Broadcast Donald Trump Jr. fleeing in the white Bronco. You know what I mean?
Which we're going to jump out of order here, but let's talk about a Donald Trump wannabe, right? Kyle Rittenhouse.
Ooh.
Just a despicable teenage boy that has gotten...
A punchable face.
He has a punchable face to end all punchable faces.
Yeah, as fuck.
Essentially. But
for real.
The kid that you hope your children never grow up to be.
Say that.
He's been making the rounds. I'm sure you see all the podcasts and stuff. But he was on a podcast recently and talking about how he wants to go to school, how he wants to get an education. You know, I've had this moment in my life, and I've gone through the legal process. I'm trying to put it behind me, and I want to get educated and be like a contributing member of society, and blah 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 bullshit. And he, on that podcast, goes on to great lengths to talk about how he's enrolled at Texas A&M University, how he loves the campus and the location and the food, and he just can't wait to get down there. He wants to potentially look at getting his pilot's license and learn about aviation, and talking like a kid who's been admitted to the university and plans on going there like any high school senior would at a graduation party. Except he hasn't been admitted, and he hasn't even applied to Texas A&M. And this came out.
Damn,
no,
hasn't even
this
applied?
came out because some journalist saw this and decided to cover it and reached out to Texas A&M for a comment. And Texas A&M said, quote, "Kyle Rittenhouse has not applied to our school, nor has he been admitted to our school, nor is he attending our school for the summer semester or the upcoming fall semester." Just curved it. And the best part is this isn't the first time that a big university has come out publicly and said, yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't go to our school.
Who else is
Previously,
Yeah.
a couple months ago, he was talking about attending Arizona State University, which I think is hilarious because, like, academically speaking, you couldn't be on complete opposite ends of the spectrum than Texas A&M and Arizona State. But
Yeah, Arizona State, shout out to people that went there, but we know what you were doing, and it was not hitting the books.
no.
Contracting
He,
STD.
I guess, on another podcast was talking about how he's attending Arizona State University and, you know, how he loves it and all this bullshit. And Arizona State University then came out, same reasoning, because a journalist followed up with them and wanted to see what the story was. And the story is that he is not a fully enrolled student at the University of Arizona State. Instead, he is enrolled in their online GED program that students oftentimes enroll in to get rid of gen eds that they need to take before going to the university.
Oh, wow.
So it sounds like he couldn't have even been admitted to Arizona State University if he applied.
Yeah, if he didn't even have the right credentials to get in. Did he graduate high school, or did he, like... Because he was in high school when the shooting originally happened, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So, like, did he end up dropping out because of the legal process and stuff like that? Like, does he not even have a high school diploma?
I don't know enough.
I guess the point being that he's purely lying about, one, his credentials, two, where he's actually going, his enrollment. Dude's obviously a sociopath. Like, what the hell? And shout out him for doing his little media tour thing. I'm sure he's got an agent or something like that at this point. But, dude, that person is a piece of garbage. Anyone that hypes him up or is on his side or platforms him, or I'll say this, or school that enrolls him, is also trash. It's a murder, a cold-blooded murder. We don't like Kyle Rittenhouse. Same way that George Zimmerman should not be getting our pleasantries anymore. You know what I mean? You're done.
I don't even think he could, like, go to a big university.
It'd be hell for him, I imagine.
Yeah.
Unless he's at, like, I don't know. What's the most conservative university there is?
I mean, Texas A&M is a pretty conservative university.
Really?
The A&M stands for agriculture and military.
Go crazy. Let's go.
So,
all right. I didn't know.
I mean, if
I'm
it was
learning a
going
lot
to be
today.
a super conservative school, it would be one of those along the Bible Belt. You know, your Texas A&Ms, your UTs, maybe your Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Your SMU, your Texas Southern. So
TCU type shit.
yeah,
TCU
we'll see
is
where he
big.
goes. But, I mean, I think he's going to get shit regardless.
As he should. You know what I mean? Crazy. Good for A&M for... So, I mean, I guess he's just out here making comments, hoping that people don't check him, right? Because, like, A&M probably wouldn't have known or commented if they weren't reached out to by this reporter, right?
Yeah.
So,
A&M
yeah.
probably
I'm glad
wouldn't have picked
someone's
it up,
doing
but
some...
It got
some
enough
research.
steam where it was like, it wouldn't surprise me if it came to the attention of some admissions people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they were like, oh, no. That's interesting. Even if, like, the admissions people heard that, they might just be like, oh, maybe. I don't know. Like, it takes some digging to be like, all right, hold on. Let me actually look through the system here to see if Rittenhouse is in the system at all. Okay. From
From good
Kyle
on
Rittenhouse
Texas A&M.
back into order here.
Good on Axon, which is a company that I didn't know the name of. Did you know the name of this company?
Not at all. Say it again.
Not at all. Axon. AXON. The
Axon
company
Axe off.
known best for inventing and developing the Taser. So that yellow gun that police officers so often reach for and mistakenly don't grab, that company was developing a Taser-equipped drone that they were planning on launching and releasing to police departments and other law-abiding citizens that want to protect their property.
Which, like, what? That we shouldn't be able to get a Taser drone? That's crazy. But yeah, continue.
A Taser drone shouldn't be a thing. Like that,
Like
it
what?
shouldn't be a thing. And it's not going to, because the people that have a fucking brain at Axon stepped up, and their entire ethics board resigned. And they
like, what are we doing here, bro?
They said, we're not doing this, and if you guys continue with this, we're done. So then the CEO and founder, Rick Smith, came out and said in an announcement that it was intended to initiate a conversation on this as a potential solution. And that conversation ended in your ethics board saying, fuck no, you're crazy, peace, I'm out.
That's so ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, good for all the ethics people. Like, there's no way they could have a career in ethics after that got developed under them. Like, and it's a drone, so I imagine it's not autonomous, which is good, because you have those like those robot dogs that, what is it, Boston Dynamics creates and stuff, and they like have guns that are able to be fitted to them, and they're pretty much like, I don't believe they're controlled by anybody. I think they're autonomous, which is scary. But at least a drone would have to be controlled by someone. But at the same time, no tasers to drones, no guns to drones, no missiles to drones anywhere, but especially here. Rough. I don't want to have a double standard, but I'm glad they resigned. Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot to talk on here. I just want to bring it up because it's like a sliver of hope in today's society that's so fucking concentrated on gun rights and shit. You know, there's some people that I think they said that upon reviewing the product, one board member said that they had lost faith in Axon's ability to be a responsible partner and that they wish it had not come to this. Each of them had joined the board in the belief that we could influence the direction of the company in ways that would help to mitigate the harms that policing technology can sow and better capture any benefits.
Yo, he's spitting. I love that.
They came out and just like have you seen Succession on HBO yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen parts of it. I've not seen it.
You know when Kendall is supposed to like fall on the sword for his dad, and he comes out and just reads his own statement? That's what these ethics directors did, and bravo.
Exactly. Good for them. It's like, this shit is absolutely insane. And when we talk about all these, over policing, police brutality, things like that, all the protests that happened a few years ago and stuff like that with George Floyd and all that, really? Like, we want to give them more like weird gadgets and stuff like that? Man, I'll tell you this, I'm all for defunding the police to a certain level. I don't think we need police and the level that we have them right now, that's for sure. They definitely don't need to be militarized. I think that's for sure. Leave that to, your SWAT teams and things like that. But drones, no. Keep the cop drones away from me. I don't give a fuck. Like, if I see a cop drone, I'm shooting it out the sky with my bow and arrow. Katniss Everdeen style.
Okay. I can get down with that.
Maybe that's it, man. Maybe we should get everybody bow and arrow classes. No more guns. We destroy all the guns in the world, and then bow and arrows.
We just got bow and arrows and nukes. That's all you need.
I mean, yeah. Exactly. Stunned. So from one shit idea that got taken down, cut short, another shit idea.
Okay.
Kim K eats poop?
Question mark?
Question mark? What is this?
Have you not heard about this? You didn't see this
I
on
heard about
Detraction?
it. It's like to look younger, she's like, oh, I'd eat shit if it make me look younger.
Yeah,
Is that it?
I think it's pretty much like it turned into like a headline grab from some interview that she did in May, talking about beauty and trying to look younger. And she said, I'll try anything. If you told me that I literally had to eat poop every single day and I would look younger, I might. I just might. Whoa. And the rest of the interview doesn't fucking matter because she said she would eat human shit.
Just absolute psychopath, man. Like, what? A narcissist on another level. Like, the fact that you would say that, too. Like, there's so many other things you can use as your example. Like, if I had to eat, like, I don't know, something else. I wouldn't want to say, like, oh, you have to eat a cat or a dog, because that'd be worse. People would be like, oh, no, poop's just gross. Who you hurting? Nah, fuck it. I'm on Kim's side. You know what? I just thought about it. I'm on Kim's side. I think if we found out that not even just looking younger, let's go a step farther. If we found out that the secret to stopping the aging process was eating our own fecal matter, would you do it?
I wouldn't have to eat it because that shit would be monetized so fucking quickly that I could eat a chocolate chip cookie that contained human shit and I wouldn't age a goddamn day.
Well, what if it has to be your own? I think it's worse if it's someone else's. That's crazy. You're like, oh yeah, I'll eat someone else's shit. Like, that's wild. But eating your own shit, I don't know.
I don't know
People
what's
drink their own
worse.
pee all the time.
Because if you're eating your own shit, you know what's going into your body, right? You know if you're like eating healthy shit. Like you've been eating chicken and rice and broccoli all week. You've been on your meal prep. You've been taking care of your body. You've been working out. You know that shit coming out of you is way less foul than the my 600-pound life motherfucker that's eating McDonald's 6 times a day.
Oh God. You solve aging. You don't age. You're immortal now, but you have to eat nasty McDonald's and Taco Bell diarrhea every day. And is this third meal? Is this fourth meal? Are we adding on an extra meal of poop, or are we cutting out a meal to eat poop? Do you think? I feel like
I think it's just supplemental.
Oh, maybe like poop capsules.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like if you need,
so you just have to ingest it. It's not really like eating it. Like you don't.
That's what I'm saying, man. If this was a thing, it would be monetized by the Whole Foods and Sam's Clubs of the world so quickly. Like you think about how quick CBD caught on. Just imagine if you can take a little fleck of poop, something that everybody produces, and put it into your body and not age a day. Like what?
Oh my God, that's real. That's what I'm saying. Is that like maybe it's only certain people's poop? Because I imagine that Taco Bell poop is not helping you live longer. You know what I mean? So like, if it's a Whole Foods type thing, they just have like farms of like, you know, people that only eat really good like vegetables and like organic beef and stuff like that.
You'd have like a commune. You'd have poop farmers that would create a commune with like a dorm building. Instead of having like a field of crops, they've just got like a pop-up housing complex where they've got all these families living, and they feed them for free and they pay them, but they also harvest that shit. Literally.
Yo, oh God, that's a good idea. We should get Kim K to like sponsor it. I feel like she'd be down.
We need to
if we told her that it could make her laugh forever.
Have you seen The Dropout on Hulu about that girl that finessed the whole medical industry?
No, I know the story, but
we need to get her when she gets out of prison, and we need to get her to like just completely create fraudulent documents, fraudulent research, saying that shit makes you age less or reverses your aging process, like some Benjamin Button type stuff.
Imagine if that was the actual movie of The Dropout, was like the company was like shit capsules. And the part where she's like, no, I don't think of this as just a startup. Like, I think of this.
We are changing people's lives.
By making them eat shit.
What if I told you that you wouldn't age a day, but all you had to do was have 2 poop capsules a day?
2 poop caps, that's all it takes. It's actually pretty simple. It's like 4 easy payments of $19.99, a year, get you your unlimited supply of poop caps, That's all you need.
But then it also makes me think of I think you should leave skit where she eats the receipt that has the shit on it.
You didn't wash your hands good enough.
I was just trying to save the TP. Oh, God. If somebody was going to pay you an amount of money to eat your own poop, and it just had to be not a lot, like maybe a teaspoon. A teaspoon of poop. Oh. Not a tablespoon, a teaspoon. How
It's
much?
like
What's your purchase price for eating a teaspoon of poop?
A teaspoon of poop. No less than $50K, but I'm thinking I would like more than $50K, but I think that's my base price. You know what I mean? They're like, a teaspoon of poop will give you $50,000 right now. I'm like, you know what? I can do that. I don't think that's that bad.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's got to be at a very low floor, 50K. I would probably say my floor is about 100, because I think if you're gonna,
I would love 100K for it.
that's not gonna be an enjoyable experience. But if I can open up my checking account like the next day and I can see that bitch in six figures, I can stomach that I've got my own poop cycling through me. You know what I mean?
That's real. I mean, so I think I would. So if someone were to like ask me like, oh, what's your price? Because I said it on the podcast now, so now they're gonna offer me $50K. I fucked up. But I like, if this is a real thing, I probably would have been like, oh, $1 million. And they're like, oh, I can't give you $1 million. I'm like, all right, 500,000. They're like, I can't give you that. And then if it gets past 50K, I can't do it. You know what I mean? But I'd keep asking. I'm like, what's up? I don't think it's that bad. I've had pretty solid poops recently.
It's a teaspoon. It's a teaspoon of poop.
It's only a teaspoon. Not
And
even
I
a
mean,
tablespoon.
if you give me a glass of water where I can just like real quick like pop it in my mouth and just chug that water, I probably don't have to taste it as much.
Eesh. I mean, can I take it in poop cap
No.
form? Because that sounds enjoyable, and I hear I'd live forever. Oh, okay, forget it.
Poop cap?
I'm saying Kim K's poop caps. That's a good business. Like you were talking about the street beef boxing. No, Kim K poop caps is the real $1 million idea.
I think we both just sold each other on defrauding the entire U.S. population and tricking them into eating poop caps.
And that's hilarious. Like, isn't that the funniest practical joke ever? And then on like an April Fool's, we're like, oh, by the way,
We've been
Y'all
in
been eating
business
human
for
shit.
12 years, and we're finally ready to let you in on the secret. It's all bullshit.
human shit. Actually. Yeah. But all right, man.
Should we wrap it up with the playoffs?
Oh my God, yes. So today, I guess technically in 10 minutes from right now, the game three of the finals starts. And technically, if the Celtics win tonight, then I lose the bet already. Or I can't win the bet at least. Because if the Celtics win the series, then we both lose our bet. To remind everybody, our bet from last week was that I had bet it was 5.5 over under. I took the under games in the finals here, 5.5. Justin took the over. So if the Celtics win 2 games, then either the Celtics are going to win the playoffs, win the finals, or it's going past 5.5 games. So
You need
I'm
a
worried, you know what I
gentleman's
mean? I'm going to be
sweep.
watching the game intently.
You need whoever, which right now, Boston is up 49 to
Poole's going
34,
nuts.
about 7 minutes left in the second quarter.
Are you for real right now? Damn, I thought it started at,
I think it started
whatever.
at 7:30 maybe. But regardless, you need whoever wins this game to just finish it out in 5. Otherwise, I'm winning the bet.
Well, the real thing is because if the Celtics win the playoffs, then we both lose. Because we had both bet Golden State.
Yeah, but the bet that we had was just on the over-under, not on the team.
I thought it was team as well. I'll check the tapes on that one.
Check
and
the
I'll have to
tapes.
get back
I thought
to
it
you.
was just on the
I'll
length
check the tapes on it.
of the series.
Because we had both said that Golden State was going to win, and then you had said that it was going to take more than 5 games for them to get that win. I was thinking that it was going to be 5 games or under for them to get that win.
So if Boston
which no
wins,
way
then
for
we're
it to be
both
4 now. Exactly. But I mean, I'll check the tapes on that because if it really was a straight over under, then I'm still on the chopping block here. That could be bad. I don't know, man. Jordan Poole is going nuts. I need more Jordan Poole. I haven't watched the game yet, though, because I've been doing this.
I want, before the series is over, I want one close competitive game all the way down to the wire. Game 1
Yeah, all the blowouts are boring.
Like, competitive at the end. But I want one game where it's like, holy shit, that was an amazing finals game.
Facts. That's what it would take for this to be like a classic finals. You know what I mean? I feel like whenever the Celtics are in the finals, people are always like, oh, God, such a historic finals. You know what I mean? Like, anytime the Celtics are doing well, people love it. It's like same thing with the Lakers. Anytime the Lakers are really good, people are like, oh, what a classic team. Like, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Bro, but people
I
say
think
that
this
about
has
the
been
Bulls,
pretty boring.
too.
Well, yeah, but the Bulls haven't been good in so long. Like, but it was a classic team when it was Jimmy and Derek and Joakim. That was classic. Yeah. Joakim Noah played the Joker. He's just really tall. But yeah, I think a lot of teams get that rap automatically when they have a good year, and I don't think the Celtics really deserve it this year. It's like a classic. The Golden State doesn't really deserve it either. It's a classic, you know what I mean? Golden State obviously is like they're all Hall of Famers at this point, but it's been a whack finals in my opinion, whack playoffs in general.
Yeah, I think the series had been good. Like the series so far, all the way leading up to this, they were very competitive series. And
yeah, I was like, is the multiple of series just series still?
We've had very competitive series. Yeah, but that's singular.
Yeah. Well, no, because if whatever.
If you're an English major, get at us. Let us know.
Yeah, drop
all
some
of
in
the
the comments.
series have been very competitive for the most part, but the games have not been. For the most part. And that's what I want. I want one good game. Like the Rangers and Tampa Bay, that has been a competitive series. In the games, aside from game 1, 2 was decently competitive, but game 1, New York just blew them out of the water. With that one aside, those games have been competitive. Colorado, Edmonton wasn't really as competitive. Colorado kind of just dusted them. I mean, game 4 went to OT. Who you got coming out of Tampa Bay and New York?
So right now, what's the series at with
2-2.
that? Is it 2-2 right now?
Game 5 is Thursday.
So I would rather have New York do well because I really, really hate Tampa Bay. Fuck Steve Stamkos has been my mantra for a long time now. I want the Rangers to win, so I'm gonna go with the Rangers. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they have scored more goals. Like if we're adding up all the goals from all 4 games so far. The Rangers are up still. 6. Yeah, the Rangers are up still. I think they're just better. This is good. They're gonna be coming out of the of that side.
I'm with you. I want Panarin to get a cup, another cup.
Bread men. It's gonna be tough against Colorado though, man. The Avalanche are already in the finals here.
I kind of think
because that sucks to
Colorado
even
gonna steamroll whoever they play.
Yeah. Yes, that's where I'm at. Because you just come through from a tough series. It's 2-2 right now against a very good team in Tampa Bay. So let's say the New York Rangers do go through, and they're just beat up. The Avalanche have just had a smooth sailing through every single team.
Rest up, get healthy.
Yeah, I think they're gonna blow them out the water, which is cool. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, but I had forgotten that the Avalanche were actually still a team at one point. It felt like they were absorbed into some other franchise. Aren't the Wolves a farm team for them? The Chicago Wolves? Or they used to be?
I don't know, because when they did the conference realignment, a lot of the affiliate teams, some of them got changed. And I think that, and it also had to do with when Vegas and when Seattle came in, because now, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Wolves are Las Vegas's AHL team. I could be wrong.
Okay. Which also, fuck Vegas having a hockey team that's halfway decent. We don't like that either. All these warm places with hockey teams need to go away. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're the
give me back my original
Carolina
6.
Hurricanes.
Oh, okay. Respect. Shout out the Hurricanes. They went pretty far in the playoffs. Either way, I do think the Rangers are going to go, and then I think they're going to take this pretty hefty L, maybe gentleman's sweep, to the Avalanche, and it's going to be it.
Yeah.
You know?
When we get to the finals, we'll have to do another bet for the finals for NHL. I think the NHL is playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers. Regardless of how long this series with Tampa Bay goes, the NHL finals will not start until, I can't remember the date, but based on how the calendar works for the NBA finals, the NHL finals will not start until the NBA finals have ended. So that is going to be like the premier sporting event on, which for 2 weeks?
Which I respect that.
That's really smart.
Cool. Get your Stanley Cup. So it's still to be announced as to when the first game would be then.
No, they have the date set because even if
it's just no matter what.
Yeah, so even if Tampa wins 2 straight and they come out of the East, then they're still going to wait until I think it's the 18th or something. I don't know. But they set it up and they have
they're still going to have a decent amount of rest.
I think that's a good idea.
No matter what, they're still going to have a decent amount of rest, whether it's New York or Tampa. It's not as much as the Avalanche, of course, but yeah, still a decent amount of rest. This is good. These are good things. We're going to mount a good challenge here for the Stanley Cup.
On the better things?
Not us.
On to the 3x3?
Yeah. On to the
3x3.
Top drop.
Okay. Or drop. Where do you want to start? You want to start
Talk to me.
Jordan, Nike, or Yeezy? Nike. All right, we got a nice Air Max 1 collab for you with Kasina.
Okay.
This is the Made
Cahuata?
to Be Together collection. They've got 2 colorways coming out, and they actually, one of them, both of them dropped on the sneakers app today. Pretty cool colorway. The fabric looks to be a little bit of suede, some genuine leather, some long-haired suede that almost looks more like fur, like fake fur. A icy kind of clear sole. I don't know. I like the multicolor one. I can't find a name for the 2 colorways. These for me are probably a drop. I'm kind of sleeping on them. They're decent, but it's not blowing me out of the water.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say I think these are a drop for me as well. Especially the top one there, the more colorful one. It looks good. You know what I mean? I think it looks kind of good. The patchwork thing, not my favorite. The bottom one that we see here that has kind of the more muted tones, the cool tones on there. Yeah, I don't really fuck with that. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem very cohesive. It looks like pieces of a bunch of different shoes that were just lumped together. I do like, however, though, the little swoosh with the flower on it.
Yeah, that's
just kind of hot.
I also think,
but that's not enough to save it from being a drop for me.
The soles, because you've got the clear ice blue translucent soles, they have a coloring under the sole, a pattern that's really dope. Kind of tying in that bird logo that's on the heel of the shoe. But yeah, both of these for me are drops. Decent shoe, but I'm not fired up about it. You know what I mean?
That's definitely a drop, just because it's not as crispy as it could be. You know what I mean? And also something that was brought up. So aside from this shoe, over the weekend here, friend of the show Sam and Quentin had said that we should add a third category. So a cop, that's a personal cop. A drop, you just don't fuck with it at all, or a flip. And I know you said that before. You said, hey, if I get my hands on these, I would flip them, or if I get it at the right price point. But I think we should add that third choice in there. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and it's very serendipitous, because let's jump over to the Yeezy Foam Runner, coming out in the Onyx colorway. Are you familiar with foam runners at all?
I've never worn them, but yes, I'm familiar with them.
You've seen this Alien versus Predator shoe.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
these dropped
they're weird
today in the Onyx color. It's basically, think like the aliens in Halo. If you had to give them slippers made out of recycled material, this is probably what they're coming up with.
That's good.
This
No, I
color,
like that.
it's called Onyx, but I mean, it's black. It's like matte black. That's what it is. I mean, not a whole lot to describe here, but this for me is a flip because I actually hit on these on the Adidas Confirmed app today because I don't want them.
Really?
But they're $90 and they're reselling for $225. So if I can make a cool 115 without doing any work, I'm gonna do that 9 times at 9 and 10 times at a 10 too. So these for me are a flip, and I am in fact flipping them.
Wow, a real life flip on the first time we've had a flip as an option officially. Wow.
And this wasn't planned. Like,
are you gonna like
in
try
the
them
slightest,
on though?
which I think
See
is
if
the
like they're
wildest
dope.
part.
Are you gonna try them on though? Because I've heard
Yeah,
they're really
I'm probably gonna like just slip my foot into it and stand on them and on some carpet so I don't fuck up the bottoms. Because I have heard that.
And then
I have heard that these are like unbelievably comfortable.
I'm saying, so maybe they look kind of weird, but I mean, especially if you're making $150, it's definitely worth the flip on that. But like in general, I don't know, if it wasn't that much to flip it, I'd say maybe try out keeping them because these are kind of coppable. And for me, these are a cop. They're fired. I mean, shit, who you flipping them to, bro?
I don't know. You trying to buy them?
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying them for $250 or whatever, $280. Hell no. I would buy them at a $10 markup for $100 from you.
A slight finder's
Take it or leave
fee.
it. Yes, take it.
I might hook you up.
Nah, you should flip those. That's fire. If I get real Yeezys, I'm gonna damage them real fast. It's not gonna be worth it. All right, on to the last shoe.
We got it's a top 3 silhouette for me for sure. Might be my favorite Jordan silhouette. The Jordan 1s coming out in a very bright colorway. This is called the Visionare colorway.
Yeah.
Now, I was trying to do just a little bit of research, but I couldn't find anything. These, based on what I was reading, I thought they might have been previously released in like back in when the Jordan 1s were like first coming out. But it's a very bright Volt yellow. It kind of looks a little bit more lime green than yellow, but still super high vis and very notable. The leather on it looks like it has a little bit of distressing. It's a little wrinkly, which is nice. On the white, you get the standard genuine leather. Same on the swoosh, and then you've got some distressing and some cracking on the leather on the upper around the top heel. These are a cop for me. So shit, we got one of all 3. These are a cop for me.
Let's go. Cop it, drop it, a flip.
Definitely a statement shoe. Like, these are gonna be a loud shoe, but I like the distressing. I think that's a cool touch, and I think it's a shoe that it's gonna age well. Like, it's already distressed, and I feel like as
I would definitely cop
these. It's going to look better, and the box is pretty cool too.
I would definitely cop these. I think it's a really cool color. It's definitely a statement. You know what I mean? There's not much to be said about it. It's a Jordan 1, man. What more do you want than a really clean Jordan 1 that's high top? Gotta love some high tops. You know what I mean? These are all good things. This is exactly what I would want out of a shoe. It's a cop.
Double cop.
Standard. Yeah. Nothing more to say. Yeah, I got 2 cops and a drop today, and you got a cop drop and a flip. That's a good day. It's a good week for shoes, man. Good shit. I like that. Now, top 3.
Yes, sir.
What are we on today? Top 3 cover songs.
Covers.
Ooh. Do you want to go first or second? So, does a cover have to be a straight cover, or can it be like like a remix or someone like adds a
no
like a
remix
rap verse onto a
because
song?
I think we've
Does it
already
have to be, like,
done
straight cover?
a remix.
No remix.
So no remixes. Has to be a straight cover. I'm gonna lead it off because I really only have one that is at the top of my head, top of my mind, and that is "A Day to Remember," covering the Fray "Cable Car Over My Head" off of the what was that series, the Pop Goes Punk series.
Yeah,
that song is a banger. Still in the gym playlist or the gym rotation.
Well, since you went that way with it, I will also go that way with it. "A Day to Remember," "Since You've Been Gone" by Kelly Clarkson, one of the best covers.
For real. Another great one.
"Day to Remember" has a lot of great covers, I'm not gonna lie. They've made like 4 or 5, I think, that are on albums dispersed, but yeah. What you got?
I'm gonna go with Mac Miller, and this is one that probably isn't well known because I don't think it was like a commercial release, but he released a cover of the song "Bright Eyes" by Vonnegut. I think that's how you say the name. "First Day of My Life" by, hold on, let me see.
Yeah, what? I don't think I've heard this. Regardless,
the artist is Bright Eyes, and the song is "First Day of My Life." And Mac Miller did a acoustic cover of that song, where it's like it's a very stripped down guitar and just Mac singing, and it's really good. So
damn,
you can probably find it on YouTube because it for sure ain't on Apple Music or Spotify.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that shit out afterward. So I'm gonna go with a cover that I feel like a lot of people have heard, but maybe you don't know like who did it. So "Hey Ya" by Outkast was covered by this dude Obadiah Parker. Do you remember that? Where he did the acoustic guitar, like really sad version of "Hey Ya." Have you heard that? Yeah, really good. But Obadiah Parker is the name, and it's so it just really highlights how sad the lyrics to the song "Hey Ya" are. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a happy song, but he kills it. Only listen to it if you want to cry just a little bit. You know what I mean?
We're digging deep for this one, and this is probably a group.
Hey y'all, it's Mike. We had a technical issue with one of the cameras, so the video feed and audio feed on one side cut out. So we gotta end the episode here, but it's alright. We'll be back next week, Thursday. Check us out. Podcast. Check out the playlist in the description. Let's get it. Now,